That's those hands on. Got the best wrestling in the world. And can't nobody say nothing else. And I want you to understand that. And I want to let everybody know. Let me tell you something. Number one starter. Check out the promotion. The worldwide wrestler is number one around the world. And I want you to understand that. And I want to let everybody know. Let me tell you something. Number one starter. Check out the promotion. The worldwide wrestler is number one around the world. And I want you to understand that. And I want to let everybody know that the road, look out, I'm telling about you. He coming your way. I know you've been talking that time. He gonna whoop you more than you ever been whooped before. But Magnum, he's gonna like, and then he gonna take care of business on you. All right now, all right now. Feel that army, baby. All right now, all right now. He's coming your way. All right now, all right now. Right here, pistol, hands, right there, my brother. All right now, all right now. Feel that army, baby. All right now, all right now. He's coming your way. All right now, all right now. Right here. He's gonna like, and then he's gonna take care of business on you. What are you doing? She's in the kitchen, running and popping friends, and looking so right. Big baby, big mama, boogie man, and Fisty. Never sure you look good, brother. Let me tell you something, number one starter. Check out the promotion. The worldwide wrestler is number one around the world. And I want you to understand that. And I want to let everybody know. Let me tell you something, number one. You know what? Get the best wrestler in the world. The worldwide wrestler. And I want you to understand that. And I want to let everybody know. All right now, all right now. Feel that army, baby. All right now, all right now. He's coming his way. All right now, all right now. Right here, pistol, hands, right there, my brother. All right now, all right now. Feel that army, baby. All right now, all right now. He's coming his way. All right now, all right now. Right here. He's gonna like, and then he's gonna take care of business on you.
Hello, everyone. It seems like my camera is not working again. Now, I don't know. Maybe I can just like leave and come right back. Give me 1 second, guys. Whoa, that was weird. Not the music I was playing. That video I was playing was fucking awesome, is what that was. Because somebody, it's like the best shit I ever found on the internet. I swear to God, to me, that's like these two classic wrestlers doing promos, and somebody just put really funky music to it. I think it's just the funnest shit I've ever seen. How's everybody doing? It's been a minute. I have not been going live as much as I can. I see my homies are in here. 10 to Life is in here. Rosaling. Once Upon a Crime is in the house, guys. My friend Bobby. It's good to see you, girl. I'm not going to go through everybody. But Evelyn Arnaud. Lucky Me, Corey H, Louisiana Girl, Dizzy Lizzy, Nintendo Dog, Rebecca Smith. Yeah, man. Sometimes I have things to do while I'm, and I didn't want to wait too long to go live. And sometimes I'm just not fully prepared. So I just wanted to share that little video with you guys because I thought you'd enjoy it. I know I did. I do every time. So tonight, now I got to fill you in on. I like to be 100% honest with you guys. I like to be as transparent with you guys as I possibly can. Right now, because I have a full-time job, because I'm trying to take this channel in a particular direction, considering the last couple of months have been eventful. But anyway, yeah, I'm trying to do certain things, and in order for me to do that, I need help, and there's only one person that I really trust to do that, and and I want to tell her to drive safely, as I saw many of you in the chat were doing so. That girl, she basically does almost, if not all, of the research on cases that I have not picked out myself. This was something that was requested by somebody, and I'm really glad they did request it. And this thing is, this is a really, really crazy case. I did a part 1 on this, and I'm talking about little Joe Clyde Daniels. And now we did a part 1, and there's a lot of information in this case. And so for part 2 to get done, well, that girl has to do what I just don't have the time to do. And so as far as this case goes, she's definitely the hero. But unfortunately, whatever happened in Texas happened, and she got a pretty bad end of that. And she has to pretty much rebuild at the moment. And so Normally, I would never take this long to do a second part, but it just is what it is. But it doesn't mean that we can't talk about it as far as what we know so far. So there's still some updates that we have to go over, but I basically went over most of the timeline as far as how things played out so far. But there's certain things about this case that really make me want to think. Certain things that, because I mean, when you have a case, I'm guessing because Joe Clyde, he was only 5, and so a lot of things are sealed. They're not for the public to know about. That happens a lot when there's a minor involved. So some of you are probably thinking, well, we saw the Gannon Stock arrest affidavit for Letitia Stock. And the arrest affidavit of Letitia Stock for the crime against Gannon Stock, to be clear. So the thing is about that is that was not the actual, that's not the actual affidavit that's being used. That was an old affidavit that didn't have all the information that they have now. So we don't have hardly any information until this goes to trial. We hardly have any information as far as what exactly happened to Gannon Stock. But we do know that they have enough evidence to arrest Letitia, and they feel that they can convict her. So this case is a little more complicated. We don't have any type of information other than the charges against Joe Daniel Sr. and I already forgot the mom's name. But Joseph Clyde Daniels III. He was born on July 30th, 2012, and he disappeared from his home on Garners Creek Road in Dixon, Tennessee. On April 4th, 2018, at the age of 5, Joe was autistic and nonverbal. There is little to no evidence in this case, and he has still not been found to this day. His father, Joseph, is charged with homicide in the case, while his mother, Crystal, is charged with aggravated neglect. Now, these two bullet points right here are what make this case so interesting yet so frustrating. There is little to no evidence in this case, and he has still not been found to this day. And the other bullet point here is his father, Joseph, is charged with homicide in the case, while his mother, Crystal, is charged with aggravated neglect. So these two bullet points are it makes things very, very complicated because the fact that there's so little evidence. Now, honestly, we don't really know how much evidence there is. There's no evidence to us as to how much evidence they have. But for some reason, law enforcement feels that they have enough to convict. They have enough to arrest and charge Joseph with homicide. So they have reason to believe that he's dead. Now, we know that there was this is what gets interesting to me, is this case is definitely going to trial, and it's set for June 1st, 2021. At least Joseph Sr., his trial starts on that date. Now, this dude, he's complicated. As I mentioned in the last live, they did just a couple of months after his arrest, they performed an IQ test on him, and apparently he scored just below genius level. And I find that to be interesting, but at the same time, after thinking about it, I've had a couple weeks to even think about this. For all we know, we could be overthinking that. That could mean almost nothing. I mean, it could be that he scores high on the things that they test you on, but has no common sense. But then again, he could be a manipulative narcissist. So we don't know. But with what we know, I find it interesting to speculate on what's going on here, because he's got a public defender assigned to his case. A public defender. Now, public defenders in cases like this, they tend, as we've seen many times, they tend to plead out. They don't usually, they're not usually trial lawyers, or at least they don't fancy themselves trial lawyers. The majority, from what we see. Now, I don't know a lot about the law. I'm just saying. Now, there's all kinds of things that make me think about this. There's all kinds of weird stuff. Because if this guy, I mean, just knowing what little we know. Now, what his attorney says is that it doesn't make sense because here we go. He admitted to, or confessed to, Joe Sr. confessed to beating little Joe Clyde to death, and then disposing of the body, but has yet to disclose where he disposed of the body. Now, supposedly, Crystal woke up and saw Joe Sr. standing over Joe Clyde Jr. with his fists balled up after hearing screaming that sounded like agonizing pain. And then she went back to sleep. And I thought that was weird. And I just keep thinking about a bunch of different things. Like, I believe that the two of them both played a significant role, both of them together, in disposing of his body. I don't know where they disposed of his body. Don't know how they did it. But his attorney, his public defender, is taking this to trial because he thinks that, and I can't argue with this, there's no blood spatter in the house. Yet there's blood in the car where they went to dispose of the body. I don't know what the details of how much blood was found, but from what I understand, it's traces of blood in the car. So why is there no blood spatter in the house at all? If he beat him to death, could they have cleaned it? Maybe. We need to know more about what the house is like. We need to know more about if they found any solution for cleaning products, fresh or anything like that. We don't know any of this stuff. So, but he makes a good point. I mean, we have to keep in mind, people, that this guy is under no obligation to prove his innocence. The way it works, we know, people, is it's the prosecution's responsibility to create a case that's airtight, proving this person beyond a reasonable doubt that they're guilty of the crime they're charged with. That's what the prosecution does, period. So now all the defense has to do is create reasonable doubt. That's all they have to do. It's just create doubt. So yeah, I find it crazy interesting, because if this guy, I mean, what if his lawyer's just a total fucking loser, and this guy, because he's just a public defender, right? What if this guy is basically telling this guy how to run his case? He's like, I've got you as my lawyer. This is what you're supposed to do. What do you plan on doing with my case? If he's scored just below genius level, if this guy's a borderline genius, why is this not possible? It's probably unlikely, but how is this not possible, right? That he's probably running the whole thing. Telling this guy, no, man. If you do that, then whatever. But I'm telling you, I'm not giving them the location of the body, and they don't have enough evidence. They just simply don't have enough evidence. So all you have to do is let a jury know that they don't have enough evidence. That's it. That's really all his job is. If you think about it, that's all his job is. Okay, my client killed his 5-year-old son. Prove it. I mean, that's all he has to do. And it doesn't seem really that far-fetched that they could pull that off, considering what we know. Why is there no blood spatter in the house? And this guy could just easily just be like, dude, okay, so yeah, he confessed. He confessed to beating him to death and disposing of his body. But it's almost like, I mean, maybe it's because I watched too many movies, right? But I feel like this dude is straight up like they got nothing. I could tell him I killed him, and it's still not enough to convict me. So remember what's his face? What was that fucking dude's name? The guy from Colorado. Not Chris Watts. Jesus. Yeah, the murderer in Colorado. Yeah, that narrows it down, Will. Good job, buddy. Jesus. This real piece of shit too. And his girlfriend helped, and then she cut a deal with the prosecution and testified against him. Why am I not remembering his name? It's driving me crazy. I'm having the biggest brain fart right now. But he even said, no, not Morphew. Like, he's already convicted. He's already done. The case is over. Frazee. There you go. Patrick. Yes. Patrick Frazee. So this guy said, no body, no crime. Now, he was convicted, but that actually is pretty valid. Like, it's quite possible that Letitia Stock could get away with murder without a body. I doubt it, though, because there was all the blood found in the house. I mean, there was enough blood in Gannon's that soaked through Gannon's bed, onto the floor, through the carpet, and onto the concrete. So, you know, but I don't know. Yeah, they probably could get fixed based on that. But there's no body for Joe Clyde. So this guy could totally just be like, I'll never tell you where the body is. Now, here's another thing that I was wondering. Does anybody in the chat think that it's possible that Crystal, his mom, killed him? And this dude is basically saying, dude, just shut up. Just shut up and we'll get away with this. Could it be possible this guy's protecting his wife? Because no, I'm not buying. We talked about this in the last live about this. I'm not buying that this woman woke up, saw her husband over her 5-year-old son's body, who's autistic and nonverbal, and you know what I'm saying? Saw him standing over there over his body with his fist clenched after hearing him scream. And then she goes back to sleep. And he threatened her. He also threatened her. Said if she talks, he'll kill her. Right? And then she's just going to go back to sleep? Like, there's no fucking way, dude. There's no way that story's right. I mean, even, okay, a lot of people are like, oh, I'd kill him because my kid. I mean, these two are clearly a piece of work. But what I'm saying is, you know, yeah, you know, even if she's too timid or too afraid of him, you're not, because of how much fear you're experiencing, there's no way you're going to fall asleep. I just don't see that. Bunny Melon, we're talking about Joe Clyde Daniels. Yeah, Nintendo Dog. I agree with you. I just don't. I'm not buying that, man. There's no way in hell to me that this woman just went right back to sleep. I mean, well, all we're seeing is pictures of her. You know what I mean? Like, what's I was talking to this guy at my job. He goes to the gym I work at, and he's works for the sheriff's department. And I asked him, and he never even heard of the case because it's not even anywhere near where I live. But um, I asked him if he knew about it, and he never heard of it. But we were talking about it, and I showed him the picture, and he's like, I can't tell which one is the dad. You know, I thought for a second the wife was the son. Uh, here, I'll show you guys. Hopefully, this thing every time I share a screen, my camera goes out for some reason. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Hold on. That's her on the right, man. She looks like a 13-year-old boy. So, I mean, and here's the thing. Even if her story's correct, right? Even if her story's correct, I mean, that's shitty. That's a shitty person. If you if you see that and you go right back to sleep, you're not going to sleep because you're scared because you're going to be too scared to sleep. But if you actually fall asleep, yo, you got to get right with Jesus or something, man. There's something fucking wrong with you, man. You are a piece of shit. You are a piece of shit. And there's no way I'm buying that she didn't help him dispose of the body. Like I'm that's something that I'm willing to, you know, she helped load him in the car, something. Um, but here's a possibility. If there's no blood in the house, right? Here's another theory. If there's no blood in the house, well, they lied about him dying in the house or being murdered in the house, I should say. Uh, they 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 could have just put him in the car. They could have premeditated this whole thing. They could have put him in the car, planned this whole thing prior, put him in the car, gone to the location where they were going to dispose of his body and kill him there. Blood in the car, maybe, right? Blood in the car because maybe they hit him to shut him up or something. Or who, I mean, I don't know. I don't even like to think about it, but or at least not those types of details necessarily. But Christina Goins, that's actually a great point right there. They could have drowned him in the tub. They could have drowned him in the tub. Could have been that he bumped his head and then irritated it and was bleeding in the car. Who knows? Anything. I mean, we don't have enough information yet. But there's all kinds of different ways. But here's what we do know. We know that they're lying. I mean, but the problem is the prosecution has to prove that. The prosecution has to prove that these two people, that their story is bullshit. Dude, that was that child's mom, dude. Telling you. That's the mom, dude. Telling you right now. I mean, this kid seemed happy. So was he constantly abused? Because I mean, that's the thing. The things that she was charged with like child neglect and child endangerment, right? And they're felonies. Uh, but the thing is that's probably just based on their story. And if they're near genius level, why are they coming up with that story? You know what I'm saying? Like, why even admit to anything? It's bizarre. It's bizarre that this guy confessed to killing the child, and then his lawyer's taking it to trial, right? And they're hanging on the fact that they don't have enough evidence, even though he confessed to killing the boy, beating him to death. I don't understand that. Yeah, I mean, I can imagine that shitty people wouldn't have even remotely the maturity or the patience to deal with a special needs child, especially one that can't speak. Um, I'm sure that's very trying. I'm sure it's a very challenging thing to have to deal with. But it is not for the weak-hearted. And when I mean weak-hearted, I also mean the dark-hearted, especially not. It takes a very special kind of decent individual to care for a child like this properly. And it's a sad thing because that is the truth. If you're a shitty person, there's no way that you're going to be able to handle trying to meet the needs. If you're incapable of empathy, there's just no way that you're going to have a special needs child that you have to feed and clothe that cannot communicate with you or show you affection. I mean, I don't know much about autism. I honestly don't, but I do know I've seen children with autism. They come into my job. I had a cousin who was autistic, nonverbal as well, that I spent a little time around when I was small, but she was older. And I saw the movie Rain Man, you know? I mean, so I don't know much, but I remember my cousin, we would be sitting at the table to eat, and when she got frustrated, she would bite her fist real hard and make a noise, you know. Um, and who knows? Who knows what a 5-year-old who's going through this, what kind of episodes they're going to have, and what's triggering them. So I think that the theory that makes the most sense to me is that they premeditated this. The two of them together premeditated this, and both, if not, if one of them actually performed the crime, actually committed the crime itself, committed the act itself, if that person just did that by themselves, the two of them at least planned it, I believe. I think that they knew about it. I think they both knew what was going to happen. Because there's just no way. There's just no way that this woman saw this rage. There's no evidence that this story took place in the house. There's just no evidence. And there's just no way that this woman went back to sleep. Yeah, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff in this case because supposedly there's a lot to cover, man. What's up, Bite Me? Yeah, this I find it just, I mean, this poor kid never stood a chance, dude, the way it sounds. The more and more that I think about this case, the more and more that I think about this case, the more angry it makes me. Because I can't look at this kid, without having almost hatred for the people that hurt this child. And the way that they're going about it, it's almost like they're playing games. Not only did they do this, but they're clearly not in the slightest bit sorry about it. Their actions dictate the fact that they're just not sorry about this. People try to get away with shit because at least a part of them believes that they deserve to get away with it. They feel somehow justified in their actions, or else they take accountability, and taking accountability means taking what comes with this. What's up, Mr. Zod? It's good to see you, buddy. Yeah, so that makes me that much more angry when I think about that. When I think about the fact that these people are taking no responsibility, yet admitting to it, or like one is admitting to actually doing it, the other one is admitting to being complacent about it. And now they're going to trial. They expect to get away with this. Now, another thing, man, again, I don't know a lot about the law, but this dude has been doing the same thing that Letitia Stock has been doing, which is trying to get an insanity plea or say that they're too insane to stand trial. So to me, that's an admission of guilt. To me, that is. If I'm a juror and I know that, I'm going to be like, these fuckers did it, But the thing is you can't convict on that. You have to convict on whether or not there was enough evidence shown. Because let's just say, for argument's sake, right? Let's just say that the jury knows and they're like, fuck that. I don't care if they show us enough evidence. We know they did it. So they're going to jail, right? They're going to prison. That's it. at least. Well, that lawyer is going to file an appeal, and he'll probably get it, because if he could prove that they lacked enough evidence to convict him, then he's going to get a retrial. That's what I'm talking about, though, Danny. That's what I'm talking about. Tennessee will convict them. If not, Southern Justice will handle them. I mean, I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that, because if I'm pissed about this, and I'm as rational as I am looking at it, I mean, can you imagine what the community around them feels? I mean, I can only imagine. Like, you saw them. I showed the pictures of them. Going to court. I mean, here you go. They got fucking Kevlar on, dude. Because Southern Justice is a thing, man. Southern Justice is a thing. Like, just the mere thought that there's a possibility that through technicalities, these motherfuckers are going to get away with killing their kid. If that's not unbelievably infuriating, then, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. I mean, look at these motherfuckers, bro. This guy's clearly a mouth breather, and he tested near genius level in an IQ test conducted by the prosecution. He's a fucking mouth breather. I mean, imagine. Think about it. There's so much. So many different ways this could go with how little we know. I mean, this public defender feels like he can get these people off. I mean, Connie, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. But if I had to guess, I'd say it's because they simply didn't want to meet. They didn't have the patience to deal with their special needs child. I mean, I can't see any other motive. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is normally the case. That's what I feel like happened again in Stock. I feel like Letitia was left with this kid who wasn't hers, and he had special needs. Landon, his mother, called him her little miracle because the doctor said he was supposed to be dead by the time he was a year old or something like that. He was 11. He was 11 when Letitia killed him. I mean, that girl, that's a good point. I mean, yeah, like you got to believe in due process or else we're going to have chaos. But I mean, this guy's got to be a piece of shit. I mean, I don't care. I feel like there comes a time where metaphorically you kind of make a deal with the devil when you make a decision to know someone's guilty of a crime and then try to get them off because you think it's going to further your career, because that could only be the motive I'm seeing behind this public defender defending these two people. I it's the only logic that I can come up with. You know, I can't. I mean, think about that. Imagine you're a public defender, an attorney, right? I mean, but the thing is you signed up for this shit, right? And once you took on the job of being a public defender, like you went to law school for that shit. You went to school for like 8 years, right? So the decision to do this is already made pretty much. But when you're faced with the actual case, right? Because you're only doing it in theory, you know? You're going through the motions because you know at some point you're going to have to make this decision, right? And then you get there and it's a case like this and you see it as opportunity. You see it as, man, this is what I've been training for. And it's high profile. It's all over the news. My name is going to be everywhere. Private practice, here I come. That could be the only thing that makes any sense to me, is that this person, I mean, and I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. But if you come across a case like this where you know the person's guilty, you're a piece of shit for seeing it as opportunity to fucking further your career. I mean, but think about it though. I mean, I guess that's why people call lawyers pieces of shit. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, these fuckers will do anything to be out on top, to come out on top, right? Prosecution, they'll fucking play dirty as shit to get a conviction, right? Yeah, Jose Bias. Yeah. That guy's such a piece of shit that he makes me laugh. But here's the thing, though. He didn't even do that great of a job. You know what I'm saying? This is the Casey Anthony case is simply a case of the prosecution failing to prove their case. It's not that Jose Bias did a great job defending Casey Anthony. The prosecution did a shitty job of proving her guilt. Why didn't they search her computer better? It came out later. I've gone over this before. It came out later that there was a Firefox search on the computer that took place while Casey Anthony's dad had already left for work. The timestamp proves it. It completely proves it. So, and the search for this on the Firefox, the search was foolproof suffocation. Baby Kaylee was found with duct tape. Or there was duct tape near skull or something like that. And the prosecution missed this. And the reasonable doubt that Jose Baez created was that Kaylee's father could have done it. And that's all they needed to do was create that reasonable doubt. And that's why Casey Anthony is getting drunk in bars in northern Florida and talking about starting a PI firm. So that's all a defense lawyer has to do. Anybody who knows anything about true crime, follows true crime in the slightest bit, knows the name Jose Baez. That's exactly what he was looking for. Look at Johnny Cochran. Robert Shapiro. I mean, Johnny Cochran used it like he was like, this is the biggest trial possibly ever. So I'm going to put on a show. And he was rhyming, if the glove don't fit, you must acquit. Man. After that, dude blew up. Blew up. That's what this guy's looking at. That's what this guy's looking at. Not to this level, not to that level, but definitely it's going to look a certain way on a resume when he tries to join a private firm and then try to make partner or start his own private firm. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of, right? This dude probably got a wife, kids, puts food that pays for in his children's mouths and in their bellies. That's what that money buys, that food. Put food in his family's mouth. Like, I couldn't sleep at night, man. There's no fucking way I could ever do that. There's just no way I could ever do that. I mean, yeah, he's just doing his job, but who wants to do that job? Who looks at that job and goes, yeah, those fucking people are guilty as fuck. I'm one of the first people that's like, innocent until proven guilty, blah, blah, blah. No. That doesn't apply here. Not when this motherfucker's admitting to what he did, and this woman their story is that she went to sleep after she saw him with his fist balled up over her son, her 5-year-old. Nah, man. No, these motherfuckers are guilty. If you're defending them, you are a piece of shit. Dude, can you imagine? That dude's gonna have to move. That dude's gonna have to move. Like, there's no way. Dude, did you see that movie? He's probably getting phone calls like Matthew McConaughey in A Time to Kill. That dude's probably getting phone calls in the middle of the night. You gonna burn for defending those motherfuckers, you son of a bitch. Click, boom. Standing at the window with a shotgun, looking at them. Tell you what. I mean, dude, I don't, yeah. Like, do I approve of that sort of behavior? No. No, I do not at all. But what do you expect, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're, dude, if you're defending these people with what we know, you're taking it to trial, you're wasting taxpayers' time and money on top of it. Just on an economic level, it's shitty as fuck. You know that community is like, fuck that guy. You know it. That community is crank calling that dude. Probably done through a brick through his window or something. I've seen To Kill a Mockingbird. I actually watched that for the first time recently. Oh, thank you, Dizzy Lizzy. Appreciate that. I happened to catch that come through. Um, yeah, man. I mean, if you're, yeah, like, there's no way. There's just no way. There's no way if I'm a lawyer, right? If I'm smart enough to be a lawyer, you know, I'm smart enough to work at a gym, right? Like, I'm going to know that literally anyone that lives around me that knows what I'm doing, like, this guy's not getting waved at the store. Like, hey, this guy's car's getting spit on. People see this guy at a red light. Piece of shit. Yeah, there's just no way. There's no way. I'm not. This guy's gonna make. He's not even gonna make a lot of money off this case. You know what he's gonna do? He's probably gonna write a book. This motherfucker's gonna write a book. Because that's the thing. That's what's genius. In the theory, to me, that's what's genius about this defense. Because it's a bullshit story. And because it's a bullshit story, that's what they're gonna, you know what I'm saying? This guy's gonna go up there and he's gonna call his client a liar. He's gonna go, well, if he beat him to death, where's the blood? In the apartment or in the house? Where's the blood? My client got mental problems, lies for whatever reason. I don't know. But I just, if that's all they got is this confession, the confession doesn't even make sense. So I move to have the case dismissed, Your Honor. There's just no fucking evidence. Well, Rosling, immediately, yeah. Writing a book, you're saying, is the only way that he'll make any money off of the case. Well, that's probably, I mean, that's true when it comes to immediately actually the case itself. But ultimately, it's going to create a name for him. That's what he's looking for. He's looking for the clout. Because I mean, if he wants to get a job at a big firm, You know, I mean, this is his tryout, man. This is his, if there's, I guess, law firm scouts out there looking for the next hot thing, well, this falls under that category. He's a public defender, and he's basically, he's going to come off like it's just common sense. His whole attitude is, do I know whether or not they did it? No, I don't know whether they did it because the prosecution and the law enforcement has failed to provide me with enough evidence to convince me that my clients are guilty. My clients are liars. That's not murder. Crazy, dude. He could totally win. Good night, Sandra Martinez. I mean, don't mess with Texas. Your statement is true, but the thing is, he is a big time celebrity lawyer because everyone here knows who he is. You just, in your comment, just stated exactly why he's a big time celebrity lawyer. I mean, we could sit here and act like he's not, but that would just be bullshit because everyone here knows who Jose Baez is. Look at his clients. Yeah, he's a total twat. There was allegations, there was like rumors that he traded sexual favors from Casey Anthony to cover for a case. I wonder if that's like, there's any truth to that. But I mean, is it okay to start bullshit rumors like that about somebody? No. But if I'm Jose Baez and doing what I'm doing, do I get to get mad about it or feel victimized by it? Probably not. Probably not. Dude, I don't even know. Dude, Chris Watts pled out, dude. He pled out. Confessed, pleaded guilty. He's done. Blows my mind. People still talk about that case. Blows my mind. I don't know if Annie's still in here, but I want to give a shout out to her because I almost forgot. Annie, 10 to Life, just hit 100,000 subs. So yeah, man. I think that's fucking amazing, dude, and it's well deserved because she's a fantastic creator, and yeah. Can you imagine that? 100,000 subs as a true crime creator, and I don't think she's ever even covered Chris Watts. I've heard her talk about it, but that's a hell of a thing. 100,000 subs, right? 100,000 subs, and I don't think she's ever covered the Watts case. That, in my opinion, is the epitome of a true crime creator right there. The real deal. Real deal. All right, so she did one video on it, but I mean, yeah, one video. Everybody else uses it as fucking clickbait. And I mean, he's a fucking douchebag. That's all he is. He's a douchebag who couldn't keep his dick in his pants and couldn't meet responsibility. And everybody's making this out to be like this. There's conspiracies and blah, blah. Get the fuck out of my face with that shit. Like, I there's no case. I've never heard of one case that's ever been more cut and dry. Never heard of one case that's ever been more cut and dry. He did it. He confessed to it. Well, he did it, gave a bullshit story, then confessed to it, then gave another bullshit story, and another bullshit story, another bullshit story after he was already convicted. After he didn't even get convicted. He fucking pled guilty. I mean, that's it. Everyone was talking about this thing. And I remember I was an admin in a Facebook group about the case, right? Before I even listened to a YouTuber talk about it. I was an admin in a Chris Watts Facebook group. And it was blowing my mind how crazy people got. Hell, I even got a little crazy at one point. But when he pled guilty, the reaction in that group made the whole thing very obvious to me. Everyone felt cheated out of a trial. People thought this was going to go to trial because they couldn't stop talking about it. So they wanted more. They wanted more. They wanted more. They wanted more. No, justice could not have been served more swiftly. The prosecution did exactly what the prosecution is supposed to do. They got with his attorney and said, this is what we're going to do. And if this goes to trial, you're going to lose because we have plenty of evidence. And so his defense did their job. I don't know, man. He might like it. He's a soft boy, that dude. He's a soft boy. I don't he might be enjoying prison. And that's the thing, everybody's making him out to be like this criminal mastermind. Not at all. Not even close. Not even fucking close, dude. This is just some pussy who couldn't keep his dick in his pants and wanted someone to take care of him. That was it. NK was doing the apartment hunting for him and doing all the shit that he was supposed to do himself. She was doing it all for him. Why? Because he fucking can't do shit on his own. He needed to be mommied. That's why he killed his family. That's it. Like, I don't understand why everybody is like, oh my God, there's such a deep psychological. I mean, yeah, of course, there's fucking something wrong with this dude psychologically. Who cares? Fuck him. Who gives a shit? He's locked up. He's not bothering nobody. I don't need to understand this motherfucker. Exactly. He's a man-child to a psychotic level. That's it. I don't think anybody needs a fucking degree in mental health profession, in a mental health profession to know that that's all that is. Everybody's trying to make this into some sort of fucking. It's just like there's so much shit going on out there, man. There's so much fucked up shit going on out there. And you're focused on a case that's fucking been closed for 2 years. It's not like you got away with it. I could see still talking about Casey Anthony. Nobody even talks about Casey Anthony that much. I could see talking about her all the time. She got away with it. I mean, that's fucking fascinating, dude. It's fucking infuriating, but it's fascinating. There's nothing fascinating about Watts. He's just a bitch. Killed his family so he could sad fish, basically. So he could sad fish from his new girlfriend. I mean, think about it. They're missing. He's all over the news. They're missing. So he's got a girlfriend going, you know, fuck, my man's going through such a hard time. His family's missing. I can only imagine how that feels. And he was thinking she was going to coddle him. She didn't even want a relationship with this dude. She's like, she just wanted dick. That's all she wanted from this guy. Like, I don't understand why everybody's so. And just because she wanted dick from this guy doesn't mean that she was an accomplice in the crime. There's no evidence to suggest that at all. There's none. And look at that. Here I am, bitching about people who talk about Watts while I talk about Watts. Well played, Chris Watts. Well played. Douchebag. Right. Like, we all sit here and we say that we want swift justice, right? But we're pissed when we get it. We feel cheated when we get it. It's because those people are not looking for swift justice. Those people are looking for drama. I totally walked into that shit. Roseanne D. Dude, it's pretty cut and dry, Kathy. No, it was pure cut and dry. It was done. Oh, God. All right. I'm gonna call it tonight, guys, because I am not letting this chat go into that. Sitting there and talking about this bullshit case. I know I started it. It's my fault. It's okay. But that's as far as I'm going with it. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you. For those of you who donated to the PayPal, I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much. And we will do this again very soon, my friends.